gonna look pretty good in this suit. I'll tell you, I might have to command these rascals to wear suits every day. Amen. We receive, amen. Elder Gross, because my name is a great guy. You know, he's in Koji. Amen. So, you know, he can walk that word. So I'm gonna say that too, so we can all get some strict Bible today. Amen. And all right. All right. Clap your hand one more time, and you're in his hands. You can go as he please.
Bless the name of our God. Truly is he worthy to be praised. Can we give our pastor a little hand clap? Just say you are blessed. Amen. You are better than blessed. Amen. To have a man of God to stand up here and tell you the truth. Yes. Amen. And indeed, it is a blessing. And you know, some people are worth listening to, but just not worth following. Come on now. Come on. Remember, even Jesus said, listen to the Pharisees. For they tell you what to Moses. But he said, don't do as they do. Which simply means they are worth listening to. They just not worth following. So I think right now that you should consider yourself blessed. Amen. Because you have a man of God that is worth listening to and worth following. So you can be seated. You can be seated. Try not to be before you long. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3, I'm pretty sure we're familiar with the story. We call them 3 Hebrew boys. Shadrach, Meshach, and the old saint said the bad nigga. Daniel chapter 3. And for the benefit of time, I'm not going to read all. You can study it on your own time. I'm going to read the last clause of verse 15. Go to verse 15, the last clause. And it reads as follows. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? That's what we're going to talk about. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, can I trust God under fire? Under fire. That's what we're going to talk about. Is that it? 350. He asked the question, who is this God that shall deliver you out of my hands? And he asked the question. Questions are important because when you ask the right question, it'll lead you to the right answer. Questions come from the root word that we call quest. A quest is a journey. So asking a question leads you on a journey to an answer. All right. Even if Jesus says, ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be open. So King Nebuchadnezzar asked this question, who is this God? To understand it in the more life format, we must understand the attributes of God. We must first understand that God is infinite. Everybody say infinite. Infinite. God is infinite, which simply means he is beyond measure. He is without bounds. God has no limits. He can do anything he want to do whenever he gets ready to do. He's God. He is without bounds. He has no limits. In that being said, because he's infinite, he is also eternal. Everybody say eternal. Eternal. Therefore, he cannot be controlled by time. He is eternal. God is a creator. He is creator. Everybody say creator. Creator. Which simply means, though, he cannot be controlled by time simply because he is the creator of time. Come on. If you go to Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, that's time. God created, that's space, heavens and the earth. The earth is matter. So therefore, in order to create a thing, one must be outside of a thing in order to create a thing. So therefore, if he's outside of thing, he cannot be controlled in anything that he's outside of. So therefore, he is creator. And simply because he is creator, it simply means he is eternal, he's infinite. It simply means he is omnipresent. Everybody say omnipresent. Omnipresent. He is everywhere at the same time. Right. It is the psalmist said in Psalm 138, he said, where should I go from your spirit? Where should I flee from your presence? If, he said, if I ascend to the heavens, he said, behold, you are there. If I make my bed in hell, therefore he is there. The proverb writer, he says like this in Proverbs 15:3. He said, the eyes of the Lord is in every place, beholding evil and the good. God is everywhere at the same time. Not only is he everywhere at the same time, if he sees all things, which simply means he's omniscience, he is all-knowing. Everybody say all-knowing. He knows everything. There's not a thing that he does not know. And because we said that knowledge is power, so therefore he's all-knowing, he therefore has to be all-powerful. Come on. So that because he's all-powerful, there is nothing he can't do. Which simply means this: if we add up the data about who God is, we must first come to this conclusion. God in his allness simply means that he is a God that can specialize in things that are impossible. Okay, I'm saying it. Y'all missed it. God in his allness. He's all-knowing. Therefore, he is all-powerful. So therefore, to add up the data, he is a God that can specialize in things that are impossible. Okay, if let's go. You remember this is in Matthew chapter 4. The disciples and the multitude followed Jesus after he just got finished healing with compassion. He led them, and now they are hungry. He's 5,000 people. They are hungry. But they only have 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Okay. 5,000 people. They are hungry. But they only have 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Guess what? They give to Jesus. He lifted it up to heaven. Now he have fed the multitude plus with leftovers. It's only a God that can specialize in things that are impossible that can feed 5,000 with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. That's one instance, same chapter, Matthew chapter 14. Now he tells the disciples to go to the other side of Galilee. They get in the midst of a storm. In the midst of a storm, they see Jesus now walking on water. What? He is walking on water. Only a God that specializes in things that is impossible can walk on water. But Peter says, Jesus, if that be you, bid me to come. Peter gets out the boat and starts to walk on water. Only a God can do that, which simply means this: because he's a God that specializes in things that is impossible, he can have you to walk in things that you should be sinking. He is a God that specializes in things that are impossible. But this is the crazy thing about God about God, honestly, I just don't like it. I'll be honest. In order for you to get that revelation, he has to put you in the situation that is impossible. I'm going to say it again. In order for you to get that revelation, he has to put you in a situation that is impossible. All right. Okay, let's go over it again. He led the people. They followed him. They are hungry. 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Who can feed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread? He brought them to that situation just to show them that I can give you more if you just give to me and give you leftovers. He has to put you in a situation that seems impossible just to get you the revelation that to show that I am the God that specializes in things that are impossible. Okay, this is what we get in Daniel chapter 3, and which is good, in which I'm glad Shaq sung, he sung, If You Just Trust Me. Pastor gave a dissertation about us as identity. If you get this revelation, and tell you the truth, us people, I'm saying us people, we're real bad at this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is not their name.
That's right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. Okay, I know it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is not their names. It was a name that was given to them by their slave masters. Okay, I'm saying. Because very often, we never call them by their real name. We only call them by the name of their slave masters. I'm going to say another one, Thomas. We call him Doubting Thomas. The Bible never called him Doubting Thomas. We call him Doubting Thomas. Why? Because we have the tendency to only characterize people by their situation. Their name is not matched. It's Ananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. That's their name.
Come on.
Now, why is that important? Because if you understand in Hebrew culture, when somebody changes your name, they're not just changing your name. They're actually trying to change your identity. The Hebrew word there is Shem. And wherever you see the word name there, if you look it up, you're going to see the Hebrew word Shem, which simply means character. Not just character, but your popularity by way of character. It goes like this. Have anybody got in touch with somebody that lied all the time? I mean, everything that come out their mouth is just a lie. And you run into somebody else that know that same person, and the minute they say their name, the first thing that pop up to your mind is like, yeah, come on, yeah, lying John. Simply because you don't know him by the name or by what you call him, you only know him by his character. So when they changed their name, they tried to change their character. God did it. When he got to Abram, he changed his name to Abraham. When he went to Jacob, he said, Jacob, your name is no longer Jacob, now it is Israel. Because you have wrestled with God. Because God understands that if he could change your name, he could change your character and change your identity. He changes the slave master changes their name. And not only do they change their name, the wonderful thing about them, they try to challenge their principle. When you understand this, they said that we are not going to eat the master's food. They said, only give us vegetables and water. Repeat this. Vegetables and water. I'm not the only one here.
I love you. Love you.
Vegetables and water. What happened? It's just the slave masters decided to eat their own food, and they decided to follow the principles of God. They come in front of the king, and they see now that the three Hebrew boys now are in better shape than the other slave masters. Which simply means is that you can be in captivity, that they can even change your name. But the name change they give you can only be just a word, but if my character never changes and stick to the principles of God, I could even get promotion in the midst of my own slavery. Okay, you don't believe me. A next situation comes up. This will be chapter 2. King Nebuchadnezzar has a dream. The dream cannot be interpreted by the astrologers, the sorcerers, and the Chaldeans. So he threatens them and say, okay, if y'all can't tell me this dream, because he's an insecure narcissist, he says, okay, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me this interpretation. What he does, can I come down here and be myself? He says, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me this interpretation. Okay. He threatens them. So they go and tell Daniel what's going on. They tell Daniel what's going on. Daniel goes to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and tells them, okay, listen, guys, we got to go before God. They go before God. He gets the interpretation of the dream, tells it to the king. And this is what he loves. He said, listen, don't kill your sorcerers, your astrologers, the Chaldeans. Don't kill them, because I have the interpretation. Why is that important? Here, go to my text, Daniel chapter 3. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar have issued a decree. When the music plays, bow down and worship my image. This is in verses 1 through 7. Bow down and worship my image. Okay. In verse 8, it reads like this. It says, but certain of Chaldeans. Why is that important? This is what happened. The music starts to play. Almost everybody bows. 3 Hebrew boys does not bow. Certain Chaldeans go and tell the king that they're not bowing. Okay, I'm going to say it again.
Come on now.
Everybody bows. Almost everybody bows. The 3 Hebrew boys does not bow. Certain Chaldeans go back and tell the king that they're not bowing. If everybody is supposed to bow, how do you know that I'm not bowing? If everybody is supposed to bow, how do you know that I'm not bowing? You got to watch people who's paying attention to you, because they might not have their good intentions, good intentions at heart. You may be cute, you may be handsome. They may be paying attention to you, thinking they think that you're attractive. But the whole point is they can't wait for you to mess up and show your flaw. But they can expose you for your flaw. Watch this, just to cover up for what they not, what they do. How do I know this? Because they never been told the king. They didn't bow. They just went and said, okay, king, the 3 Hebrew boys are not bowing. You got to watch out for people like that. To expose you, just to keep everybody from seeing from what they're doing. We done seen it. We seen it this week. Y'all heard about the perfect incident. Yeah. His son exposes him to everybody, but never told him what he did. Come on now. Exposed Kirk for what he did, but never exposed what he did. You got to watch out for people. So they go and tell the king, okay, look, king, they don't regard you as king. They don't worship your God, and they're not bowing to your image. They got 3 things against them. They don't respect you. King, they're not worshiping your gods. King, they're not bowing to your image. And then watch this. This is the punchline. Then he say, and these are the men that you put over the province of Babylon. Oh, so now I know what's wrong. You mad because I was a slave and got promoted, and you been here working for him, and he never gave you a promotion. Y'all didn't hear me. All right. Ain't it funny when you're down and out, you're not doing bad, you're broke, your car messed up, nobody don't got nothing to say. But as soon as you get a new house, as soon as you get a new car, as soon as you get a new boot, everybody got something to say.
That's right.
Because I was a slave, you had nothing to say. But when he gave me a promotion, now I'm your enemy. But and this is another punchline. Remember, it was the Chaldeans that he helped in chapter 2. Remember? He said, don't kill them. It's It's always the people that you help the most that always stab you in the back.
Come on now.
Isn't that true? It's the people that you help the most that stabs you in the back. He said, King, don't kill them. But it's the same people who say, oh, King, they not even bound. Which goes comes to this question. Are you mad? And are you disgusted because of my faith in God? Or are you mad in my favor?
Come on now.
I'm going to ask the question again. Are you mad because of my faith in God? Or are you mad because of my favor in God? Y'all remember the Genesis chapter 4 with Cain and Abel? When both of them brought a sacrifice? They brought the sacrifice. God looked at Abel's sacrifice and looked at it with respect, but he frowned upon Cain's. And Cain killed his brother simply because he saw favor in his eyes. You got to watch out for people, even sometimes your family members, that they will get ready to kill you because they see the favor of God on your life.
That's right.
They're mad because the truth of the matter is, it's really both. They're mad at my faith in God and my favor because it is God is the giver of both.
Yes.
Which comes to this. How much do we really trust God?
Come on.
Because this is what I learned. Because this pandemic had caused us to challenge our theology. We have got a lot of health, wealth, prosperity preaching, which is cool. I have no problem with that. But this is what I learned about trusting God. When I was a kid, my daddy, when I was learning how to drive, my daddy would say, here, Bubba, here, get these keys. Here, go drive around the yard. He said, give me the keys there. But don't you go out there in the highway. You stay your tail in the shoulder. He trusted to give me the keys to drive around the yard. But he didn't trust me to go in the highway. Which simply means this, that trust, faith have dynamics. I can trust you for one thing and not trust you for another. So how far do we really go with our trust in God? Because this is the thing, trust also accepts yes, but it also accepts no. Okay, y'all don't get it. Come on now. It's because of, watch this, it's because of Israel's sin that they are in captivity for the first place.
All right.
So he allows them to get in captivity, but still want them to stand up for righteousness while they're in captivity. It is the same God that allows captivity, but it's the same God to allow you to have faith in the midst of captivity. Now, why is that? Because you have to understand this. He wants to expose you to unbelievers so they can see the light of God within you. I'm saying it again. He allows you to go through hell, but still wants you to have faith while you're in hell. But somebody else that's going through hell can see the light in you. So this particular lady, I work at the school board down in Central Parish. This is where I work. Been there for 13 years. One of the lunchroom ladies we was all clowning and joking, and I said, I'm a painter. And so what happened, I had to get down on my knees and catch a spot at the bottom of me. I said, man, I didn't get down there, my back hurt. And she went off. She said, hey, you a preacher? I said, yeah. How you gonna sit there and say your back hurt? You ain't supposed to claim that. And she went off. I mean, she went off on me. You don't got no faith. You call yourself a preacher. You better tell that thing, tell that back. You don't got no back hurt. And I let her go off on her rant. I said, ma'am, if you allow me to talk, can I explain something to you? It's real simple. Do you believe in asking God for help? She said, yes. I believe in asking God for help. I said, okay. Well, if you believe that, here's the problem with what you're saying. In order to ask for help, you first have to accept that you're sick.
Come on now.
In order to ask for help, you first have to accept that you're sick. In order to ask God to bring you out of a bad situation, situation. You first have to accept that I'm in one.
Come on now.
In order to ask God to get me out of this hell, you got to first accept that I'm in it.
Come on now.
And why? Why is that important? It brings you closer to reality, because if you don't have the right reality of your circumstance, I don't know what to ask God for.
Come on now.
You may ask God for a new man, but you might be the problem. You may ask God for a new wife, but you may be the problem. You may ask God to increase my finances, but at the same time, you got bad spending habits. Instead of asking God to increase my finances or give me a new boo, why you just ask God to change me?
Come on now.
Because he understands if God changes you, you can change the situation. So how far do we go with our trust in God? Because this is what I love about the three Hebrew boys and Daniel. That they can accept the fact that I'm in captivity. But at the same time, they got enough trust in God to know that even though I'm in a bad situation, I can still show the light of God in this bad situation. How do I know this? He said, okay, who is this God that's going to deliver you out of my hands? And they said, we're not careful to answer you. Now, what they're saying is, okay, King, I ain't scared of you. And guess what? No, I don't got to answer you. Which means this. In order to survive in this season, when you say yes to God, that means you have to tell some other people no. Tell them no. Tell God yes. Guess what? He gets mad. He gets mad. Now, he turns the fire 7 times hot. With 7 is the number of completion. With 7, it's completely hot. It is the hottest that it can ever be. Not only does he put it 7 times hot, he tells 3, watch this, 3 of the strongest men to come grab him. I'll say it again. He put the fire 7 times hot. He go and gets 3 of the strongest men in his army to come hold him down. Now remember, they are bound. Their feet are bound or chained up, and their hands. Why do you need 3 of your strongest men to come hold me down? Which tells me this, that he is expressing his fear of them. He is expressing his fear of what he knows God can do. Because remember, they already have him pass 2 tests. They passed the principal test and gave them the interpretation of his dream. But he knows what God can do, but yet he chooses not to worship him. But yet he knows they worship him, but now he's scared. He's scared. And this is what it is. The faith within, trust within the fire. He allows them to get in captivity. 3 men holds them and bring them closer to the furnace. This is what I love about God. Fire in the Bible sometimes means to purge things. If you put a diamond or a rock or a diamond in the fire, well, at first it's not a diamond, it's just a rock. But if you put it in heat, it comes out as a diamond. Even though it may look like one thing at first, but if you hold it in the heat long enough, you'll see the beauty of it. This is why. You got men that have the 3 Hebrew boys' body on. They're grabbing. They get close to the fiery furnace. This is what happened. Remember, the fire is 7 times hot. Watch what the fire do. The fire is inside the furnace. But when they get close to the furnace, the fire comes out the furnace, but it does not burn them. It burns the people that got their hands on it. Sometimes God puts you in the midst of fire just to purge the people that got their hands on you that don't need to put their hands on. He puts you in the midst of the fire to purge things off of you. So if you're in the midst of a bad time or you're in the midst of the fire, he don't got you in there to hurt you. He's just trying to purge you.
Come on now.
Purge things off of him. Now, they get burned and they die. Watch this. Some type of way, they end up in the furnace. Remember, they bound. Hands, feet. Which simply means they couldn't step in it. They had to fall in. God is getting ready to deliver you from some things that you didn't step in, but you just fell. He's getting ready to deliver you from some things that you meant to be in it, well, you didn't mean to be in it. You just got in there by accident, and then he's going to deliver you from it because he understands it's not completely all your fault because remember, they had faith.
Come on now.
Come on.
But he's going to bring you near the fire, purge things off of you, and then deliver you from stuff that you fell in. This is what I love Jesus. Another reason why you got to trust in the midst of fire. Remember, King Nebuchadnezzar goes and he looks down and he says, I see 4 people. And one of them looked like the Son of God. Which simply means, and we understand a foreshadowing, this is Jesus. Enemies, this foreshadowing. But what is exciting about it is that when they failed, that Jesus was already in the fire.
Right.
When they failed, he looked, he says, I see 4 men. One looking like the Son of God. This is exciting. He's not holding you back in the fire because he already knows you're going to survive because he's already. Yes. Since he's already in the fire, you don't have nothing to worry about. This is how I know. Because while they are in the fire, he says, they walking around. Wait a minute. Y'all missed it. Y'all forgot. Y'all killing me. Y'all forgot. Y'all go to the shower. They get in the fire. He looks to see the fourth person in there, and he said, they're walking around.
Come on now.
They got in the fire. They see the 4th person, and they're walking around. Wait a minute. They was tied up before they went in there.
Right. Come on.
But when they got in the fire,
Yes.
the fire burned the thing that had them bound up.
Come on. Yes.
I decree and I declare right now, the very thing that he got you bound up in, the only reason why you in the fire, he's going to burn those things that had you bound. They're walking around in the fire. Which simply means this, watch this. They are free in the fire.
Yes, Lord.
The thing that was taken away from them in chapter 1, they got it in chapter 3 in the midst of the fire. Wait a minute. They lost their freedom in chapter 1, but they got freedom in the midst of the fire.